Hey everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for checking out another video. Before we get into this, I do want to let you know that I went ahead and I upgraded my microphone. So I'm no longer recording with a Blue Snowball mic. I have the HyperX Quadcast. So a few people in the past said that my mic was peaking a little bit and it wasn't necessarily the best to listen to. So we went ahead and we upgraded. In today's video, we're going to break down a video. We're going to hop on board with Formal, but before we do that, they're playing on the map Gunrunner. So I do want to talk about strats real quick with this. So in the first hill here, you want to have this spawn. This is the most important spawn. You do not want to be spawning on this side just because as it rotates, this is a really popular hill just because as it rotates, this is a hill where you can max out 60 seconds along with this one, but we'll talk about 5 when we get there. So you want to make sure you're holding down the right side of the map here to begin with. If you get the opposite spawn, you want to make sure that you're flipping this. So as you're in the second spawn, again, now you still want to be spawning back here. You want to have your enemies spawning towards mid-map. As it rotates to the third hill, this one doesn't matter all too much. There are mainly 2 spawns here. You can either spawn here or you can spawn back in warehouse. You'll see that both of these spawns are an equal distance away from the third hardpoint. What does matter is, let's say you're getting this spawn, okay? And you have control of hill. Now, what is important is that you have people positioned on these head glitches like this. So the way that you win the third hill is not just by having spawns, but having people pushed out. Just like if it's the other way around, say you're on the third hill and you have this spawn, the way that you win this is by having head glitches like this, head glitching mid-ramp, maybe pushed up a little bit here to this ammo pile, so that now as the enemy team runs out of this 5th hard point, you're prepared to kill them before they can even get to the hard point. So third one's a little bit tricky. As we go to the 4th one, again, spawns don't matter too much for this 4th one, but you do want to hold down this side so that as it rotates back to this 5th hard point, you're in position. So if you're in the 4th hill and you're spawning over here, when it rotates to the 5th hill, which is one where you can take advantage of all 60 points, you're going to be out of position. So you do want to be on the left side of hill number 4 as you approach if you can. And then, of course, for hill number 5, you do want to have this back area spawn. You want your enemy to be spawning mid-map. And this is one where you can lock down 60 seconds. So the most important ones for here would be hill 2 and hill 5. Those are by far the most important. Now, in this video that we're going to break down, we are hopping on board with Formal as he goes to battle against Atlanta. So SIMP, Abizi, all the big names, the fast SMGs. So with that, let's go ahead and let's hop into breaking this down. I am going to go ahead and fast forward just a tiny bit so that we're not wasting too much time. So you can see as we start here that Chicago got the bad spawn. This is not the side that you want to be spawning on. So immediately what they're trying to do is they're pushing through cargo so that they can go ahead and try to flip these spawns so that they get the beneficial spawn for the next hill. Unfortunately, everybody went down. It's not starting off all too well for them. When they come back up, they're still spawning back in that market area, back in that warehouse area. Formal's trying to go this mid-head glitch. He gets cut down. RCs gets killed. Envoy gets killed. So not only are they not able to flip spawns, but they're also not getting kills inside the hardpoint. Now, the thing with these hills is that these ones that are in the middle don't really hurt you all that much. Right now, they're definitely not slaying out, so they're not winning the slaying battle, and it's 9-4. So this first hill, remember, is all about trying to flip spawns. So Formal was back there, but everybody knew he was back there, so Atlanta knew he was trying to flip those spawns. So they went back, and they doubled him, and then killed him so that they're still remaining in spawns. So with 10 seconds left, yes, Chicago is in hill, and they are getting a little bit of a lead on this mid-hill, but they're not set up for the spawns that you want as it rotates to this second hill. So as it rotates, remember, Formal's here in the middle. He's trying to slay out, but he has no help right here. So that's actually a pretty big win, but from here on out, once you get in this scenario, you do want to try to trade these out. So sorry there for just a second. I'm trying to hear what they're talking about so that I know exactly what they're trying to do. But you can see that they're just not having very much luck, and that's how you win this map. You win this map by controlling the second hill, by controlling the 5th hill, and once you get control of those 2 hills, you max out that time to the best of your ability. So this is actually a pretty good break. They definitely didn't flip spawns, but being able to get in and having a few seconds go your way and contesting for 5 or 6 seconds, that can go a long way. That's a 15-point turn there just by controlling for a few seconds and contesting for 7 or 8 seconds. So those little things are the things that matter. Now, as we rotate to the third hill, remember, this third hill doesn't matter all that much. Remember, it matters not so much in terms of what side you're on, but it matters how far pushed up you are. So right now, Atlanta flip spawns, so they have warehouse spawns, and that right there, that stun tells you that they're pushed up. So not only do they have the right spawn, but they also have hill control, and they're pushed out a little bit into cuts. So if you're Chicago, this is not going very well for you, and this is kind of the point where the game turns a little bit. So Chicago does, I believe, end up losing this by like 90 or 100 points, and after this hill, it definitely doesn't get much closer. So good job here by going ahead and taking over the hill, but one thing that they're not doing is they're not really pushed out too far into cuts. Formal tried to do it right there, but it really wasn't to any avail. He did get cut down, but this is good time. So it's 60 to 50. There's 15 seconds left. Remember, the next one's going to go to the fourth hill, which is on cargo crates over here to the left. So again, what you'd want to do right now is, as Chicago is coming off this last hill, you'd want to push back through warehouse so that you can set up spawns as it goes to this fourth hill. Remember, after the fourth hill is that warehouse fifth hill, and that's one of those hills where you can really max out time. So if I'm Formal here, I don't know how much time I'm going to spend rushing towards map. Off of that spawn there, I probably would have rotated back through warehouse, just because right now there's such a battle in hill with all these SMGs that you should be trying to flip spawns. And as you see, so if you look at the minimap in the top left-hand corner, I was just checking it out. You can't really see because he was stunned, but there was one person that pushed through, and since one person pushed through, look where Formal spawned. So right now, it's 75-66. There are still 20-some seconds left in hill, so they do want to try to contest this, right? You don't want to give up 30 points here just to go ahead and secure 30 points for the next hill. So they are going to try to contest this. They contested probably 10 or 12 points there, and from here on out, they're going to give up that time, but they do have the spawns that you want back for this fifth hill. So as we rotate back to this fifth hill, they're in position. A couple people are out in cuts, but you can just see in the kill feed right there that Arcides died and Envoy died. So again, they have the spawns you want. They have hill control, but the way that you really lock down this game type is that you push out into cuts so that you can secure all 60 of those points. Now, I've mentioned this before, but the one bad thing about following Formal is that, yes, you can absolutely see what's going on in terms of spawn, because he's always trying to control the spawns. He's always trying to control map position. But one thing that you can't see is you can't see the action that's going on inside the hill, or you can't see the action that's going on in the cuts when the SMGs push out a little bit. So sometimes it's a little bit more fun to follow Seth. I guess it really just depends on the game type. If you're playing a map like Arklov Peak, then Formal's good because that's a long-range map, so you're really able to see how the map strategy works. But it would have been nice to have seen what happened with those SMGs there. That's why I can't wait for CDL Minnesota, just because CODcasters will be switching back and forth, so I can constantly see what's going on, and I can constantly give advice in terms of who shouldn't have been pushed out, who had a really big mistake, who didn't get a kill that was a really clutch kill, so on and so forth. So as we go ahead and switch back to the second set of rotations, it is back in the first hill, and you can see that Formal's again trying to flip spawns and pick up spawns for that second hill. This is where they failed the first time, so they are trying to get it this time. I don't actually know if it's successful or not, but I do know that Faze wins this by a pretty big margin, so he's probably going to die here, and there he goes right there. You just kind of figure if the map turns in one team's favor, most of the time the team that's trying to flip spawns isn't successful. But with that, guys, this is usually the part where I let you get into a listen-in so that you can hear strategy and all of the communications between the teams. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn up your audio. Go ahead and enjoy this listen-in.
One more bathroom, Simp.
I think right, begin.
I'm gonna look middle, hang on.
I think
Two
rock.
bathrooms. Wait, right.
No, one crate.
Dead.
No, one crate.
I'm
top.
Hell plays top cat. Got me back right,
Back right. Dead.
Good job. Let's go.
They're going deep right.
I'm sending back. I'm sending back right. I think send back right, dude.
I think water, begin. They're spawning back.
I'm holding it, Alec. I don't see anything.
Something I noticed real quick from this is that there's not a lot of intensity, and they've lost this scrim by a pretty large margin. The entire scrim, they lost 8 maps in a row, but there's not a lot of intensity going on right now.
I'm going top cat. I'm going
right.
One's going front hop. One's going front hop right now.
Back door, back or.
Can't even see this guy.
Hell weak.
Major in the back. Hit him.
Got 2. One more hill. One side door.
We're spawning Cole.
You guys can hit that again. Then.
If you're keeping track, there's still 20 seconds left of this second hard point, and they're definitely not winning this one. So that's a lot of points given up. Something like that can definitely swing a map either in your favor or against you. And this one is definitely not in their benefit.
They're gonna put front. They're gonna put front, guys. I need help.
Give me enough forest.
I'm in vents.
I mean, dude.
They could be right side of it. I'm just holding left. I'm just watching left.
Came vents.
He's weak left. He's weak left.
In
Weak front.
On the heck. I'm dead.
Yeah, one's gonna be.
Yeah.
I do want to say real quick that Formal should have been pushed out here all along. I don't like that he was first in hill and he stayed in hill. He should have pushed up down that tracks area, gotten a head glitch, and been able to kill people as they were rushing towards tracks. I don't like that play there.
He's gonna push boxes now. He's gonna push boxes.
Yep. Fighting in.
Back up field, maniac.
Hit a bullet.
Yeah.
Back there.
In green,
One
in green.
box.
Box is dead.
Got him. Other one there.
So just a quick point real quick. Had Formal pushed out, they could have gotten kills before the enemy team got into the hard point. Since they weren't pushed out, when they went down, they immediately gave up hill control. So you have to push out a little bit farther. Right here, like Atlanta's doing. Atlanta's not sitting inside the hard point. They are pushing out, trying to get as much map control as they possibly can. This is what you do to overtake hard point games and to win by a large margin. Go back to a listen in.
All the way in the back. He's all the way in the back of the map. Come on, get in there.
I'm in green.
Come on.
I'll get time. Man.
Five.
I got time. No, you can go.
Trying to go right.
Yeah,
Green.
Push up.
Green.
Got him right. I got him right, guys.
Green, sim. Force.
Force weak, man. Yeah, they're trying to play me.
Maniac, I got time.
Yeah, I'm going to help Pierce. I'm hitting through the mid.
Weak.
Pretty good hill time here, but remember, this doesn't really matter to Atlanta. Atlanta has 214 points, so as long as they hold down spawns for the third hard point, they're going to win this game fairly easily. So they're not really pushing up on this too much. They are trying to control spawns and map position.
Hill weak cell. That's fine.
Oil that.
That's okay.
Another one got me in hell.
Sell.
Be there. Can't really see
I got
much.
one. Another one here.
Another one on hell.
Helping you
I'm
on
walking right. I'm easy.
This you absolutely cannot do. If you don't have map control, you cannot give up points like this.
Nice. I'm hitting through old with you.
Nothing peeking
You
old.
just go,
One
Matt.
shot.
This one old. He's front of new right now. Front of new.
I'm dead.
Just leave
Yeah,
farm.
I'm
go.
dead, dude. They're all over new.
I needed
I'm in the
it.
back. I'm in the
Oh, I
back.
fucked up my smoke.
I'm in the back.
Nice. I'm here, Pierce. I'm here.
Other one got me back. Oh, like
Back there.
Front door and then Cole.
You're gonna push me on the back, guys. He's already hitting me.
We're in the back right now.
In the back, Sim.
So
Back left,
good
back
push there from Gunless and Formal. They just didn't kill. They killed two. They just needed to kill more to be able to push that out and flip spawns.
I got him.
One shot green ramp.
Press
Nice.
Kill the guy. No. I have the cross. Kill him. Yeah, kill one guy.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
So that's a fantastic job right there. I know that the game is pretty much over, but Formal getting that kill in that choke point, they had the back pushed out. So he knew that since they were coming from woods, Atlanta was going to spawn minecart. So he just stopped on that head glitch and killed them in that choke point. That was a really smart, a really heady move, but I'm afraid that it's probably not going to matter. We're at 247, 248, just a couple seconds left, and that is all she wrote. So 250 to 161. So with that, guys, thank you so much for checking out another video. If you're new around here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm so happy from all the support, the likes, the comments, all my new subscribers. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it so much. I'm going to continue to invest in my videos, make them better and better with each and every one. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. And with that, I will catch you in the next one. We'll see you.